woke up this morning and I prayed to the Most High. The sun is shining so bright. I'm blessed to live this life. Blessed be Yahawah. Blessed be Yahawah.
Shalom. Shalom, y'all. Shalom, sisters. Shalom, shalom. I said like 4 times now. Kala Bahasham Yahawashi. All praises to the Most High. Bahasham Yahawashi. All praises for another Sabbath day. All praises. We made it to see another week. All praises. That's all we gotta say. Lord willing, y'all are doing well. It's like it for the absence, but I wanted to do this video that I've been thinking about. And Lord willing, is edifying to y'all as it is to me. Lost my train of thought. But kind of, Lord willing, everybody doing well in the spirit. Just gonna get right into it. Get the foundational precept first. All praise to the Most High. We got through another week. Lord willing, we can enjoy this rest day, soak it up, spend some quality time with the Most High. With this direct 5 and 7. Ugh, that is not the foundational precept, but that is a good one. Though, I'm tripping. I'm supposed to be going to the foundational precept. 1 Peter 4 and 11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Yahawah. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Yahawah giveth. That Yahawah in all things may be glorified through Yahawashi HaMashiach, to whom be praised and be fair and of amen. So everything we speak, we want to speak the oracles of the Most High. We want to speak those things pleasing in His sight. And with everything we do and say, we want to glorify the Most High, because it's only His ability that we're able to do anything, that we're able to get on here, talk about these precepts, understand His precepts, and have knowledge of His truth, His word, and be a part of this light. Hebrews 10:24, and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. So I'm here to provoke my sisters as well as myself to good works, unto how to get back up and fall off. Shalom. Sometimes we are in these seasons where we stop connecting with the Most High, and we stop reading, and we're not praying as much, and we're not reading and fasting at all or as much. Like, we take long breaks from our Bible, and you kind of got to put in perspective. Like, I was watching this video on the Cold Cuts channel, and it was something that was brought up was mighty. Like, think of a job, right? If you just stopped going to work, if you up one day and just said, I'm done going to work, like, I'm not, you're gonna go broke. You're not gonna be able to have any money for your family, for yourself. You would lose the things that you have because you just stopped going to work. You just stopped going to work. Likewise, us in this truth, when we just say, I'm done in this truth, I'm done reading and studying and praying and fasting, when we're taking these long breaks. And even like, we don't take long breaks from work. We don't go 2-3 weeks without going to work. Why? Because we want money to get our bills paid. We want money to get our rent paid. We want and need money. I'm gonna say need. We need money to get our bills paid. We need money. We're subject to payment, so we need money. None of us would up and say, I'm done going to work. Unless you plan on quitting, you're gonna find something else. But nobody has willingly just been like, I'm done and I'm never working again. I'm not finding a job. We haven't done that because why? We need money to survive. We need to survive. We need money to make ends meet. We need money to keep a roof over our head, clothes and back, food on our table. And of course, Yahawashi got us, but you need money in this captivity. So none of us would just up and say, I'm done working. I'm done working. Likewise, in this truth, why do we say I'm done? Like, why do we put down a Bible for X amount of weeks, X amount of days? Why do we stop spending time on the Most High when we don't stop clocking in for Esau? We don't stop showing up at our job. We don't stop submitting our homework. We don't stop doing all these things that captivity requires us to do, but we stop giving the Most High our time. We stop reading, praying, and fasting. So I understand we're in this flesh But we can't make it a habit to be in this continuing cycle of going off, because at some point you got to get tired of your own filth, and you got to stop making excuses. Um, at some point we just got to be stronger. Like at some point we just have to be stronger. We can't keep using, oh, I'm in the flesh and this walk is hard, and we can't keep using those as an excuse. Yes, this walk is hard. Yes, we're in this flesh, but that's not an excuse to just keep going on these breaks of, I haven't been reading my Bible as much. I haven't been praying as much. Like, get it together. We have to get it together, because how do we know it's guaranteed that the Most High is going to take us back? That's one. It's not guaranteed. It's only of His mercy and His grace. And we don't want to abuse His mercy and His grace. We don't want to tempt the Most High. There's this quote that says, procrastination is the arrogant assumption that God owes you the chance to do today what He gave you, what He, to, hold on, let me find it. It's God gave, procrastination is the arrogant assumption that God owes you another chance today what He gave you the opportunity to do. Hold on, let me see. I'm butchering the last part of it. Procrastination is the arrogant assumption that God owes you another chance to do tomorrow what He gave you a chance to do today. And so it's like, if you know that you're struggling, if you know that you haven't been reading your Bible as much, if you know that you haven't been praying and fasting as much, why are you still talking about it? That's like the video I did a few months ago about stop trying to sell me a dream. Like, nobody wants to hear just talk, 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 talk. If we know that we need to do something better, then why not just do it? Because that's the arrogant assumption to think that, who's to say we're gonna wake up in the morning? Who's to say all hell can't break loose tomorrow? Of course things are happening in prophecy, but the Most High, He can do anything. He can do anything, and it just comes to a point where you got to ask yourself, would the Most High be pleased with me? And just remembering that the Most High, He sees everything. Everything has been written down. We have to pay for every idle word. All of our works to be rewarded, and it's like you have to ask yourself, what do I want my reward to look like? Who um how do I want to set an example for my children? How do I want to set an example for the people around me? You know, um, is the Most High going to be pleased with me? You got to ask yourself those things, because in that day, we're going to, our life is going to be on replay, and there's going to be nothing that we can do. So it's like, if we know and we have this opportunity, this grace period to get right now, why keep falling off? So it comes to a point where you have to have discipline and self-examine, like, why do I keep falling off? So um, I'm just gonna get into the precepts. Um, and let thus saith the Lord speak. So Luke 21, because we are in this flesh. And the answer to why these things keep happening is because Satan is after us. Okay. I think I got the wrong precept. Yeah, I do. I meant to write to Luke 22 and 31. I don't know where 21 and 22 came from. All right, Luke 22 and 31. And the Lord says, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan have desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee that thy faith fail not, and when thou convertest, strengthen thy brethren. That's a prayer that some of us can start. That's a prayer that we all should be saying. I need to actually start writing this down and start praying this. That our faith don't fail, that we continue to endure to the end, because Satan desires to sift us, and to sift something. Let's see what sift means. To sift something is to put a fine, powdery, loose substance through a sieve to remove lumps or large particles. It also means to separate something to be discarded from something else, to remove, wedge out, weed out, get rid of, divide, part. So Satan is trying to separate us from the love of Yahawashi. Satan is trying to get us out of this truth, and so he's at no means is going to stop. He's not. He don't care. And Satan is putting overtime. He wouldn't never stop working and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna take a day or two off work," or So, yeah. When I was asking, why do we do those things? Of course, we all know why. It's the spiritual warfare. It's a spiritual battle, and we just have to be stronger and gird up our loins, because you have to win the mental battle first. We have to be mentally stronger. But Satan is desiring to sift us out, and so we have to remember that Satan's antennas is up, and they went up when we first came into this truth. So that's something we do have to remember though. Like Satan is after us. So if you find yourself like in this period where you just want to do better, but it's hard and you feel like you don't know what's wrong with you and you're trying, it's Satan. And we got to keep fighting. Don't be ignorant his devices. With Proverbs 24:16, for a just man falls 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. And so, yes, we are going to fall. And we are going to go through periods where, we're not doing the best that we can. But that's where self-examination comes in. There are going to be certain spirits and demons that we battle with in this flesh. So keep doing that, bro. But that's the condition of the battle. That's the condition of the battle. It's Ecclesiastes 7:20. Oh my goodness. I like you. For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. There's not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. We all sin and fall short of glory and grace. That's Romans 3:23. Romans 3:23. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of Yahawah. So all of us have sinned, and we sin every day, knowingly or unknowingly, and we all come short of the glory of Yahawashi. But again, we can't keep using that as an excuse. So when you do fall, get back up and don't keep making the same mistakes over and over again, because that's just like you fasting from something and you go back to the same exact thing you just fasted from. It's like going back to your filth, going back to your vomit. So yes, we're gonna fall, but that don't mean keep going back to it. So yes, we might have a moment where we're not as on fire, and we find ourselves binge watching or scrolling on social media too much or spending too much time and everything else but spending time with the Most High. When you realize that, you make changes and you keep up with those changes. You don't make changes, challenge yourself, set goals, and then you go right back to the same thing. That's not going to help us grow. So we got to have discipline. We have to have self-control and temperance and not let our flesh rule over us and we serve our flesh, because we're supposed to be prisoners and servants to the Most High God, Yahawah, through his son Yahawashi, not serving and slaving to our sin or to our flesh, because we just can't seem to let certain things go. What was I finna get? I was finna get something. Oh, hopefully it comes back. You guys better look at something. Didn't get it. Oh, I'll praise. I remember. All right, this is Sirach 34. And 26. Okay, I'm gonna start 25. He that washeth himself after the touching of a dead body, if he touch it again, what availeth his washing? So is it with the man that fasteth for his sins and goeth again and doth the same? Who will hear his prayer, or what doth his humbling profit him? It's no point to pray and fast and beseech the Most High for help with a stronghold you got, and then you go right back to it. So it's like, yeah, we're gonna fall in this walk, but you're gonna keep going back to it. Like, when are we gonna get out of this repeated cycle, this constant cycle of I read my Bible and I pray and fast sometimes, then for 3 weeks I'm just really battling in the spirit and I haven't read. Well, that's why you haven't read. You haven't prayed and you haven't fasted, and you wonder why all these spirits are attacking you. Like, it's not rocket science. The sword is the word of Yahawashi is our sword. And just like I make this reference all the time through the spirit. In a battle, everybody makes this reference. In a battlefield, they had swords and all different other types of weapons to help them fight. And just like our fight with these demons, we need a sword. We need a weapon to help fight against these spirits, so we don't be constantly overtaken by them. And our sword, our weapon, is the word of the Lord and clothing ourselves in his strength. So that's what we got to stay girded up in. And even when we do stay girded up in this word, it gets rough at times. But some of us, we be wondering why we going through so much. Well, that's because you're not really giving the Most High your time. And you wonder why there's a million spirits attacking you. That's because you haven't picked up your Bible for real. Like, I don't understand that. Like, it's like I work at a daycare and I don't understand kids. I really don't. Like they do something they know they're not supposed to do, and then they cry when they get in trouble. Like why did you do it? Like you knew you. Why are you crying? Like dry your tears up because you shouldn't have did it. And it's like us in this truth. Like we be knowing better. Like sometimes we be knowing what stuff is saying, and then when it happens, we feel bad. Or like I was just saying, we don't do what we're supposed to do in this truth as servants of the Lord, and then we feeling all down and sad and woe is me, like going through lower states. But that's because we're not doing what we supposed to be doing. We giving everybody and everything else our time but the Most High. We ain't really praying as much, fasting as much, reading as much, and we wonder why we always out of spirit. Uh, that's because we're not girded up in His Word how we should. But we got to be rooted and grounded in His Word. The Most High in His Word has to be our everything. We have to learn to. And I seen this video. It said, is God a part of your life or is He the center of your life? And so I'm going to play that for y'all, Lord willing. Let me read this verse. This is Ephesians 6. I'm going to start at 11. I'm going to start at 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. Puts on the whole armor of Yahawah that He may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So we need the armor on to stand against Satan, to stand against our enemies, so that way we get in fighting position. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual weakness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahawah, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. So to withstand something means to remain undamaged or affected by, to resist. It means to offer strong resistance or opposition. And this opposite of withstand is to give in, surrender, or yield. And we know we're not supposed to yield to anything but Bahasham. We're supposed to be slaves unto righteousness. And I'm gonna get that in a minute, Lord willing. But to withstand in the evil day. So we're trying to withstand Satan. We're trying to fight against Satan. We're trying to block these spirits and rebuke them in the name of Bahasham. And we can only do that by putting on the armor of the Most High. And we only are able to put on the armor of the Most High if we're grounded and in His Word. So let's go down to verse number 17. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahawah. Okay, so the word is our sword. That's our weapon, and that's what we have to. That's why we have to stay in this word, because that's how we stay level-headed as well. This is Hebrews 4:12. For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So the Most High, His word is a sword and sharper than any sword, and it pierces. So this word, being in this word, is going to help us fight these demons. So if we find ourselves in these constant cycles and battles that we're struggling, we're not in the word enough, we're not fighting enough, we're not spending enough time with the Most High enough. It's just pure point blank. And yes, some seasons are going to be harder. Sometimes the Most is going to deal with us on a more heavy level. We got to stay in His word. Sister, I'm muted. I think that might just be your phone. Y'all can hear me? Okay. Okay. All praises. So let's go to Baruch 4:28. I'm definitely I have all these notes written down, and I'm definitely not even going to order the notes, but it's okay. All praise Most High. Everything's the Lord. All right. For as it was your mind to go astray from Yahawah, so being returned, seek Him 10 times more. So when we do go off into these cycles, and even when we just go astray, like, whatever it may be, a sin, or like this constant cycle of these spiritual battling, you find yourself doing good, and you find yourself slipping off again, you find yourself doing good, you find yourself slipping off again. We have to continue to seek Yahawashi 10 times more. Let's go to Romans 6 real quick so I can touch back on this Hebrews 4:12. So remember, withstand is to resist something, and the opposite of that is to give in and yield. So let's go to Romans 6. I'm going to start at 16. Know ye not that to whom you yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom we obey, whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness. So to yield means to obey. So we don't want to yield to Satan, but we want to withstand him. We don't want to continue, we don't want to yield to our flesh. We want to withstand our flesh and withstand these demons. We can only do that by fighting and being in this word. Um, 19, I speak after the manner of men because of the infirmity of your flesh. For as ye have yielded your members servants to uncleanness, unto iniquity, even so now yield your members servants to righteousness unto holiness. For ye were the servants of sins, ye were free from righteousness. What fruit had ye then in those things whereof you are now ashamed? For the end of those things is death. But now being made free from sin and become servants to Yahawah, ye have your fruit unto holiness, and the end everlasting life. So kind of our personal side. So let's go to James 1:14, because we've already got it that we're gonna go off and we're gonna have things we're struggling in this walk. All of us have something we're struggling with. All of us got something we praying and fasting for to be purged from. Um, we're going to go off. I'm talking about this constant going off, going off, going off with the same thing. Like at some point, do better. Like do better. Like I was saying, like the kids, I don't understand children. Like I've noticed some of my kids, they keep doing the same thing over and over and over. And they're gonna get in trouble every single time. They're like, "Why did you do it?" So it's just that flesh. It's like that impulse. Like you just gotta get it. I just gotta get it. But we can't move like that. This is James 1:14. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away with his own lust and enticed. And I bring this out because we have to realize, why did I fall? Like, why do I keep falling and in this constant cycle over and over and over again? Why? We know it's the flesh, but it's something else too. Like, why? So, but in this precept right here tells us something tempted and enticed us to go into sin. So then we have to realize and self-examine what's causing us to constantly slip up. Like, why is this tempting me? And yes, we know it's in the flesh. We know we're in the flesh, and but this is why that can't be an excuse. It's just, of course, we know Sirach 2:1 say, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare ourselves for temptation." We know we're going to be tempted. We know Satan is after us, but we have to know ourselves as well and self-examine, because sometimes it's something that we're doing and that we're constantly putting ourselves in situations. That's why we have to be real with ourselves. Um, yes, this is flesh, but we have to fight. We can't always use the flesh as like an excuse. We have to fight and be real with ourselves and see, what am I not doing? There's something that I'm not doing that keeps getting me here. It's not just my flesh. You can't blame everything on Satan. What are we not doing? There's something that I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not, and that's why I keep finding myself at point A every single time. I do good, I fall off. I do good, I fall off. So that if we do that because we be tempted and we just be comfortable, we be tempted and comfortable, and we just don't know how to. Sometimes we just don't know how to say no to the flesh. We have to get to a point where we continue to withstand and resist Satan. So I want to go to First Chronicles 16:11, because we don't want to be in a repeated cycle of picking up our Bible, connecting with the Most High, then we stop reading for 2-3 weeks, then we pick up our Bible again, then we stop reading for like 3-4 days, we pick up our Bible again. Like that's madness. Like I was saying, if we did that with a job, we'd be out of a job. We'd be out of a job. They fire us, and if the Most High fire us, good luck. We don't want the Most High to fire us, and none of us would do that with a real job because we need our money. How much more this truth, this words of life, we need that more than anything. So let's go to First Chronicles 16:11. Because we got to be real with ourselves and see, self-reflect, and see what's causing us to constantly go off. So this First Chronicles 16:11. Wait a minute now. Seek the Lord in his strength, seek his face continually. We're supposed to seek the Most High daily, not reading, spending time with him for 2-3 weeks, then we stop for like a month and a half, or reading and then like we haven't been reading as much. Like we're supposed to seek his face continually, Continually means day and night, round the clock, time and time over again, everlasting. That's what continually means. Repeated frequently in the same way regularly, reoccurrently, frequently. We have to have a schedule in this walk. You got to have a schedule. Have a reading schedule of what you're going to read. Read the Bible in chronological order or just read prophecy. But have an idea. Don't just wake up every morning winging this truth, winging it. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to read today. You got to have some type of discipline and regimen and routine so that way you can instill discipline. And that's why I said repeat it in the same way. You have to have some sort of routine going in the same way so that way you can also stay connected. That's discipline. We have to have discipline. So let's go to Matthew 4 and 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahawah. So we live by the word, not by bread alone. So being in this Bible and staying connected is what helps us to strive to walk in the spirit, and that's what keeps us fed. So let's go to Galatians 5. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Walk in the spirit, you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So to be able to be in the spirit, you can't meddle with things in the flesh. The flesh and the spirit don't mix. For the flesh lusts against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would. Okay, so the flesh and spirit are warned like this, so that you cannot do things that you would normally do. But if you be led of the spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahawah. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Yahawashi have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. So if we're not walking in the Spirit, we're in the flesh. If we're not walking in the fruits of the Spirit and connecting with the Most High, we're operating in the flesh. And the Bible helps us to stay on our P's and Q's to strive to move in the Spirit to the best of our ability, because it teaches us how we should and shouldn't move. Then we strive to apply it to our life. So when we drift off from the Bible, which means we're not walking in the Spirit, and honestly, anybody can read the Bible and still be wicked. But if we're truly striving to keep His laws, His commandments, and His word, when we drift off and aren't in the word, then we start operating in the flesh, because now you have nothing to hold you accountable. And that's why idleness teaches much evil. So before we go to that, I wanted to say, 20 minutes good. I wanted to say, I was just thinking of something. I lost my train of thought that fast. Ooh. So you ever notice, like, when you ain't been reading as much, or you maybe not ever have been praying? Just say, for example, for me personally, I know, like, you ever notice, when you might have a day where you didn't throw up as many as prayers, you found yourself more snappy that day, or you found yourself more annoyed that day. Sometimes that happened to me. If I don't pray enough, I find myself not in the best spirits. And when you get in the word, when you read, I know y'all can all attest this. When you read and when you pray, you feel a breath of fresh air. You feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulder, because that's what this word does. This word renews us. This word is our peace. It's everything that we need and more. The Bahasham is everything that we need and more. Like he's that's why Sirach 43 and 30 say, even when you do praise him, you can't even it's still not enough. So it's like Most High is just so powerful. His word just keeps us so calm and sane, and it just fills us with all the beautiful fruits of the spirit and his Holy Spirit. It's just all praise to Most High. It's marvelous, magnificent. But you notice, like, like, if you go a day without reading, and I've personally never really gone a day without reading. I couldn't even function like that. Like, I couldn't even function without reading for a whole day. I would literally be bugging out. Like, I would be like I couldn't do it. Like, even Sometimes you feel grieved. Like there's been times my spirit has been vexed, and as soon as I started reading, I felt better. Or there's sometimes, I felt vexed and I prayed and I felt better, and I rebuked and I felt better. So those times when you feeling grieved, you feeling vexed, and all you gotta do is just tap into the word. You just gotta tap into the word. Imagine not reading and praying and tapping to the word for days on end. If you're gonna find yourself more fleshly because you're not in the spirit, walking in the spirit. How can you? Because you're not reading how you should be in the spirit. The Bible tells us how to be in the spirit, and if we ain't reading it, then we don't have instructions on how to move. And so the Bible is like that daily reminder, and it's like that comfort and that uplifting and that reassurance that we need every single day to help us stay on a straight and narrow path. So if we're not in that, then what are we in? And that's why I didn't teach much evil, because now you got all this free time, all this downtime. You ain't in this word how you should, and now you off doing who knows what. So this is Sirach 33 and 27. Send him to labor that he be not idle, for idleness teaches much evil. So the less we're connected with the Most High, the less we're being diligent, the less we pray, the less we read, the less we fast, the less we study, gives the devil more room to tempt you, because you aren't occupying yourself with the word of God. You aren't clothed with the armor because you're not in the word. So now you have become the devil's playground. And that's how it happened. So again, this sword is the word of Yahawashi, and our weapon to help us fight against Satan and not become his playground. So let's go to Matthew 17:21. So a lot of us get in a repeated cycle of drifting off because we drift off from God, obviously, which doesn't help us. We're going to fight demons regardless, but it's much easier with when we're in this word, because some spirits don't leave by prayer and fasting. A lot of us, we think the answer is to stop. Like, I don't understand this. A lot of us, we go through hard times and we stop reading and praying. I don't get it. Why? Why do we stop reading and praying when we're going through it? Should be while we're doing it. We should be doing it even as 10 times harder. Like, we should be reading and praying and fasting 10 times harder, especially when we're going through it. Especially. But we know why. It's the flesh, right? We say that it's the flesh. But that's where that discipline comes in. You have to have that discipline. You have to be able to fight and gird up the loins of your mind, because if every time you're going to go through something and you back off from the Lord, every time you go through something, you back off from the Lord, you're not really being strong. You ain't really been, it means you really just fainting. Every time something comes and you stop reading, you stop praying, and the Most High, He barely touched you. I mean, He just did a little flank. He ain't even touched you for real. This is Proverbs 24:10. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. We don't want to always faint when things get rough, right? And so we don't want to be moving in that type of spirit where every time something happened, oh, I just fell off. I stopped reading. I stopped praying. If anything, me personally, and there's been times where I haven't, I've been in a very low state and I just ain't been, in the word as much as I should. But there's also been times where the word is all I could be in, because that's how bad I was going through it. That's how bad I was going through it. And that's the only thing that kept me level, for real. And that's how it should be. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. So let's go to this. So, if anything, we should be running to God and not from Him, especially when we're going through it. So, it doesn't make sense to leave off from the only thing that's going to continue to get you through when you're going through it. So that's why we have to be stronger. We can't keep saying this flesh and this walk is hard. We know that. But when are we going to be strong and guard the loins of our mind? You got to know when to Satan, perceive when to Satan, rebuke him. Get thee behind me, saying, I rebuke you in the name of Bahasham. Rebuke him in Hebrew if you got to. You got to rebuke Satan in the name of Yahawashi, and can't constantly keep slipping up at his devices every single time. Every single time. So when you're going through it, don't keep running away from the Most High. Instead, go toward Him so that He can build you back up. because the Most High is he's the one that's gonna get you through that. He's the one that's gonna get us through those hard times. It's gonna keep us uplifted and keep us going. So why would we run away from that? So we need to get out of this habit of putting down our Bible when it get tough and stop fainting and gird up the loins of our mind. I'm just being real because we ain't seen nothing yet. This is just light affliction. And so if we fainting now, how are we supposed to be strong in that day? So this is 1 Peter 4:13. Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober and hope to the end for the grace that is be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahawashi. So we have to gird up the loins of our mind, period, point blank. All right, so here's a few things that I wanted to touch on and close off. So you find yourself in this repeated cycle of reading, you spend the time the most, how do you fall off? We have to realize what are our triggers. Why do you keep drifting? Is it the people you're around, the music you're listening to, the things you're watching? You have to just examine yourself. This is 1 Corinthians 15:33. Be not deceived, even communication corrupt good manners. So communication could also be behavior. In the BOB, that word also means behavior. So evil behavior corrupts a good person. So if you're around all these evil things, you got to be you know how they say, be mindful of who you let in your presence. Be mindful of the things you allow around your energy and things like that. That stuff is real. Even the foods you feed yourself, taking care of your temple. So be mindful, and maybe take a step back and see what you got going on that's causing you to constantly drift because you're constantly getting tempted. So this is 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahawashi is in you, except you be reprobates. So you have to examine ourselves because we know ourselves, right? We know what we're struggling with. We know what we need to do better. We know what we keep doing. So we have to hold ourselves accountable. And this Bible is going to help us do that as well. So let's go to Sirach 37:27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. So you have to know what's evil for you and don't give into that. Don't try to fit in. Don't let anyone get in the way of your salvation. If you want to get right with the Most High, do it and stay consistent with it, because that's the only way we will overcome these strongholds. If we're trying to lose weight, if we start working out and eating healthy, then we stop. Then we start again. Then we stop. Then we start again. Then we stop. We will never get to where we want to be because we're not being consistent. Or it'll just take a very, very, very long time because we keep backsliding. So we have to stop backsliding. We have to stop backsliding. And we're never going to grow and be the women the Most High's called us to be, and the women that we even aspire to be, the goals we want to achieve, the wellness challenge that we're doing right now, the sister ladies that she put together. The prompt that she's putting out is imagine yourself in like a few months, years from now. Imagine the woman that you want to be, and how are you going to get there? And so if we're constantly in this repeated cycle, how will you ever become that woman that you want to be, that the Most High is calling you to be, that He wants you to be? How will we ever get there if we keep going back to our filth? So number 2, avoid those triggers and stop backsliding. Stay away from whatever it is that keeps causing you to get in that cycle. Stop going back to your filth and bad, unhealthy habits because it won't help you grow. And most of the time, it's an addiction. An addiction is the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. So addicted to this bad behavior, addicted to your phone, addicted to being comfortable, addicted to that drink, addicted to whatever you can't let go that's in your way. You got to let it go, kill it, or it will kill you. Let's go to Sirach 21:2. Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent, for if thou comest too near it, it will bite thee. The teeth thereof are the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men. So we have to flee from sin, or it's going to overcome us. We have to overcome evil and not let evil overcome us. 1 John 3:11. No, that's not. No, 3 John. I need 3 John. My bad, y'all. But beloved, follow not that which is evil, but that which is good. He that doeth good is of Yahawah, but he that doeth evil have not seen. No, that's not what I wanted. I'm so sorry. Hold on. I just read it today, I think. Okay, Romans 12. I read it yesterday. Okay, what was that? Romans 12. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. So we don't want to be overtaken with evil, but instead we want to overcome Satan. And how do we do that? Being in the Word. Being in the Word. And then let's go to 2 Corinthians 10:5. I'm gonna start at 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Yahawah to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Yahawah, and bringing into captivity every thought into the obedience of Yahawashi. We have to. So yes, we're in this flesh, but we're having a spiritual warfare. We're fighting. We're going head to toe with Satan. But we got to continue to cast down these strongholds. We have to cast down these strongholds, and these things that's holding us back. And I'm pretty sure sisters have read the account with Joseph. But if you haven't, go read it. Genesis 39. That woman kept tempting him and kept trying to put that thing on him, and he got up out of there. And that's how we got to be. That's how we got to be. So let's go to Genesis 39. I'm not going to read the whole account. I'm just going to get straight to it because I'm tired, y'all. This is Genesis 39:10. And it came to pass as she spake to Joseph day by day that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. And it came to pass about the time that Joseph went into the business, that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. And it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, He hath brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. It says she spake to him day by day. So Satan's going to tempt us day by day, but we got to flee just like Joseph did. You can't constantly be ignorant of Satan's devices. At some point, you got to ask yourself, when am I going to do better? Stop blaming everything on Satan. Yeah, that's Satan. No, that's you. That's you. That's you. That's you, and that's you. Yes, it's a spirit, but that's you. You need to get that spirit off of you. Stop talking about, yeah, that's Satan, bro. That's the devil. That's you, because you won't get your behavior together. We can do this. We got to remember we can do this. The Most High, He has given us everything. He has equipped us with everything we need to do this. We have His strength, His word. What more else do we need? We have the blueprint. We have the cheat code. We have the answer key. The Bible is our answer. Yahawah is our answer. So why keep running from something that's going to help you, Lord willing, win the battle? Because a war is just a fight, but a battle is a series. So like I said it wrong. A battle is a fight. A war is a series of fights. We're trying to win the war. And we're not going to do that by constantly backsliding and constantly walking away from the Most High. Because again, who's to say He's going to take you back? Who's to say He can't blow your candlestick out? Who's to say He can't take His spirit away? We don't know. We don't want to abuse His mercy and His grace. So we got to stop using that flesh as an excuse and get on our P's and Q's and make sure we're doing what we have to do. It's 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us if we are not ignorant of his devices. So we can't be ignorant of his devices. So let's go to and the third one, the last one is pray and fast. So obviously you find yourself in the cycle, pray and fast. The Sister Lily hosts a sister fast once a month. We should be doing those. Okay. We should be doing those. It's a 2-day fast. You could choose to do 1 day or 2 day, but definitely hop on that sister fast. You do once a month. And if sisters need to fast more than that, or want to fast outside of that, hit me up. Hit whatever, or just hit whatever sisters you are close with up. There's power in numbers. Reach out to your sisters that you trust and ask them to pray and fast with you. Because howbeit this kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting. Okay, so let's go to Luke 10:19. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Notwithstanding in this, rejoice not that spirit is subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven. So we have power. We have power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. We have power over all spirits, and nothing shall hurt us. They're subject unto us. And we have to remember that. We have to remember that we're stronger. And with Yahawah, we are more than conquerors. With Yahawah, there's nothing that we can't do. With God, all things are possible. Matthew 19:26, all things are possible with the Most High. Sometimes we just be comfortable. We sometimes we don't want to get that spirit off us. We be comfortable. Get up. We got to get up. This is Romans 8 and um 37. Nay, in all these things, we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. So we are more than conquerors. We can overcome and achieve anything. And so we just got to ask ourselves, do we really want to? And what are you going to do to get there? What are you going to do to overcome, to conquer that demon? What are you going to do? This is 2 Timothy 1:7. For Yahawah have not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So we have the spirit of power to tread upon these demons. So we have to remember how strong we are, and that these spirits are not subject unto us, but so like that we're not subject unto them, but they're subject unto us. We got to stop giving Satan and these spirits too much credit. And of course, the classic Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Yahawashi HaMashiach, which strengtheneth me. This is what we have to remember. I know sometimes it feels like that spirit is just so strong, and even not even just talking about falling off, but sometimes we struggle with other spirits really hard, and it just feels impossible to overcome. But the Most High, He cannot lie, right? So His word is true. It's true. And the last point I want to touch on, I believe that some people fall off because they try to fight in silence. Sometimes we feel like we don't want to burden people with our problems, and a lot of people go into solitude. And while there's nothing wrong with that, if the Most High has put you in that season, but like a sister told me, the problem with that solitude and that I'm in my season of isolation is that somebody else got to be there to pick you up to get you out of that, or you got to pick yourself up, because there's powers in numbers. Sometimes we feel like we're a burden and we can do it alone, but we can't. And if we have no one to hold us accountable, we're likely to keep falling. So we have to be around sisters who will uphold us. So reach out for prayer. You don't got to go into detail. You don't got to tell everybody your business, even if it's your close sisters and you don't want to go into detail. Just tell sisters to keep you in your prayers. Keep you in their prayers. Because if you need help, you need help, and that's okay. We all need help. None of us can do it alone. And if we could, we wouldn't have sisterhood. We're called to be helpmates. We're called to hear help one another fight. And so don't feel like you're going to burden someone else. If you need somebody to talk to, reach out to a sister that you trust. Of course, pray to the Most High first and foremost. But if you need someone to talk to, you need somebody to pray and fast with you, reach out, and don't feel like you have to go in solitude and fight alone. Because that solitude, man, it is helpful when you're trying to get yourself together. But then at some point, you got to come up out of that, because we're not supposed to even be isolated. We're supposed to gather ourselves together. Ye nation know not desire, Zephaniah 2:1. We're supposed to gather together. You're supposed to be around sisters, because your sisters, being around some like-minded sisters that are sincere and righteous, keeping the commandments of the Lord, striving to be blameless, you know, being around sisters that are going to hold you accountable, that's very fruitful and beneficial for your walk. So don't feel like you have to fight in silence, because that's how a lot of people fall out the truth. Unfortunately, I've seen it. 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 Personal sisters I have known, I have seen it. And it's not a good feeling to watch, somebody that you was close with kind of drift off. It's not. It's not at all. And we don't want to be those people. Y'all know I love Exodus 18. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it's Exodus 18. 14. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, "What is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning unto even?" And Moses said unto his father-in-law, "Because the people come unto me to inquire of Yahawah. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of the Most High and his laws." And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, "The thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away both thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee, thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now to my voice, I will give thee counsel, and Yahawah shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to God, where that thou mayest bring the cause unto Yahawah. And shall teach them ordinances and laws, and they shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. If thou shalt do this thing, and Yahawah command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure, and all his people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. Said I'm not gonna read all of it, but see, that's the spirit. It said, if thou do this thing, then you'll be able to endure. So some of us, we drift off and feel faint, and we're not really enduring how we're not really enduring for real. We kind of falling off, and it's very overwhelming because you're trying to do it alone. Stop trying to do it alone. That could be prideful. I don't need nobody. I got it. I can do it by myself. You can't do it by yourself. Can't. It's okay to need help. Even if it's just one sister you trust. Stop trying to bear it all by yourself. You need sisters. You need sisters. It's power in numbers, I'm telling you. There's been times where I felt a boost because I had sisters praying for me. And I knew they was praying for me because I asked them to pray for me, and I know they did it. Okay? Hallelujah. Y'all praise the Most High. You need that. Ecclesiastes 4:9, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for you have not another to help him up. So that's what I was saying. When you by yourself in a solitude, like I was saying, the Most High might have you in that season, but you can't be by yourself for too long because you're not gonna have nobody to help you up, right? So when you're like, that's why it's good to stay connected with sisters, whether it's even virtually, because the sisters that I have near me, they're 30, 45 minutes away, 2 hours away, really less than that. And so it's like I don't see them every day, but I stay in contact with them virtually. Even if you don't have to be, if you're not like able to physically congregate or physically see sisters as much based on your situation, whatever the case may be, at least talk to sisters on the phone, text them, whatever the case may be. Stay connected, because when you do that, what happens is you got sisters that's gonna hold you accountable and keeping your P's and Q's and tell you, sis, you tripping. Because when you by yourself, you start doing madness because you don't have nobody to rebuke you. So that's why we need somebody around us to help us up and to help us stay on the straight and narrow path. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. And how can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. Threefold cord is not quickly broken. So see, we almost done, y'all. Galatians 6:2. Bear ye one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. Bear ye one another's burdens. It's plain. I don't know. I guess nothing else to say. James 5:16. Confess your faults one to another, that ye may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. So let's see what these words means. Effectual. It means successful in producing a desired or intended result. Effective. So let's just, effectual is effective, meaning helpful, beneficial, productive, valuable, successful. Okay. Fervent. Fervent means having or displaying of passion, intensity, vehement, zealous, dedicated, committed, emotional, heartfelt, sincere. Okay. Availeth. Let's see. Avail just means to help, I believe. To be useful or effective. Okay, so let's put it in the context. Okay. Confess your faults one to another and pray for another that you may be healed. The successful, zealous, sincere, passionate prayer of a righteous sister is helpful. So when you got sisters in these commandments, striving to be blameless, throwing up prayers for you, you are going to feel it. So reach out for prayer. Stop trying to fight alone. Okay? Shalom, sis. So the closing note I have, and I want to end off with, I already said this, but I'm gonna say it again. Stop making it a habit to fall off, because how do you know it's a guarantee the Most High will take you back? We don't know, and it's only His mercy and His grace, but don't abuse it. Don't tempt the Most High. Procrastination is the arrogant assumption that Yahawah owes you another chance to do tomorrow what He gave you the chance to do today. So if you know you're struggling, put it off and get back right. Stop thinking you have forever in a day, because you don't. So, closing precepts, Sirach 5 and 7. Make no tearing to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. So, make no tearing, get right before it's too late. I hope y'all have a blessed Sabbath. I love y'all very deeply. Call Yahawashi, Yahawashi. Again, Salakia, I didn't post last week, and this week's video is late, but our person most I was able to do it. Y'all have a good Sabbath, and Lord willing, we all continue to endure. Call Yahawashi, Shalom.